We're setting clear rules at the Pentagon. We're not playing games. We're not allowing everybody to roam around the building. You know, that was the policy before, Peter. If you were a Pentagon reporter, you could just walk around the building. No badge, no escort, no nothing. Walk into offices, talk to anybody. Who knows where there's classified information. We're making the rules more like you might say the White House. Can you roam the White House wherever you want?
Typically not without getting a Secret Service guy up in my grill.
So we're just normalizing it. Yes, you can be in the press area, briefing room, but if you want to move around the building, you're going to have a badge. It's going to be clear. You're going to be escorted when you do so, and we have expectation that you're not soliciting classified or sensitive information. I think the American people see things like that as absolute common sense. The Pentagon press corps can squeal all they want. We're taking these things seriously. They can report. They just need to make sure they're following rules.
Yeah, I think his question to the reporter there has a few flaws in that you probably can wander around the White House a little bit more easily these days since there's huge gaping holes in the side of it. So a few reporters might wander in. But that was Pete Hegseth attempting to sell to the American people his censorious crackdown on the media as common sense. I will remind everyone, the media is there to get you information, for you to know what is going on in the Pentagon, and now you will not, because they don't want you to know what they're doing. Is that common sense? I mean, from their selfish point of view, I suppose they want to control the information. But if you want to know what your government that you pay for is doing, you now have less ability to do that because of Pete Hegseth. And he thought he was going to be slick. And he was going to get all the media to sign on to this policy that effectively all they can do is report the propaganda that's handed to them. And they said no, they called his bluff and they left. Well, that looks really bad for them. They thought they'd have the media and they could just hand them their press releases, and it didn't work out that way. But don't worry, they've come up with a replacement, okay? Some propagandistic scabs. So this is Chief Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell, who says today the Department of War is announcing the next generation of the Pentagon press corps. They have over 60 journalists representing a broad spectrum of new media outlets and independent journalists. Okay, so forget all that other nonsense, it's all propaganda anyway, including the Department of War. But don't worry, they got 60 people, broad swath. We don't need all those actual media outlets with their trained journalists and their ethics and all that. We've got these 60 journalists, and you know what big stars they've managed to snag from such illustrious media outlets that they didn't even mention any of them. It wasn't worth saying any of their names because you probably wouldn't know who they are. But we did find out from a reporter from CNN, Natasha Bertrand. She said it includes Gateway Pundit, Turning Point USA, and Lindell TV, because they announced it. The Pentagon doesn't want to say those names because it would be embarrassing, but Lindell TV has announced it, so that's how we found out. So that's the broad swath of the media, from like your Comet Pizza propagandists all the way over to your Big Lie and replacement. No, it's all the same thing basically. It's right-wing MAGA media. And if I had found out, Viviana, that they were going to be in the Pentagon, I would have already assumed they're not going to say anything that could be harmful to the administration. But now they've also signed an agreement saying they will only report what they're told to report. So this is like an absolute joke. I'm glad for Mike Lindell. He's needed some good news. It's been a rough run for him, but what do you make of this?
I mean, it's the playbook for authoritarianism. You know, if you discredit the media, you take out the teeth of journalists. I mean, they're meant to wander around the Pentagon, and how dare they want to get facts and stories and release that to the public. And the implication that these journalists were just wandering in off the street and not vetted and not part of major journalistic, respected organizations is laughable. And then to create this sort of, we just want it to be normal and have them sign a loyalty test and have them do only what we say. That's just normal, right? It's absolutely bonkers. And I guess if you want your secrets kept, what a better way to do it than stuff it under a MyPillow?
Exactly. Yeah, no, totally. And look, we were talking earlier, we were trying to press the administration to legalize comedy by stop taking like late night show hosts off the air. Now we have to say also legalize journalism. Like, what are you scared of? Pete Hegseth, and I'll end on this. Pete Hegseth was like, forever, they could just walk around. Yeah, and what? What happened from that was so devastating that you need to crack down on it? The way I see it is, every past administration was able to do the crap they need to do while also allowing the media in there. You just can't seem to hack it. I guess you wouldn't be able to run the Pentagon if the media saw what you were doing. So you can't keep up to the standard of every other administration, including, by the way, the first Trump administration. His Secretary of Defense was able to do it with the media in there. What is it so uniquely weak about you, Pete Hegseth, that you need the media kept so far away from you? Except for the media, of course, that you accidentally invite to signal chats. But anyway, I want to apologize a little bit as we end this segment. I've been pretty critical of these media outlets that are going to be at the Pentagon and implying that they're not going to ask any hard-hitting questions. I think for Lindell TV, we actually have some examples of their previous hard-hitting journalism.
So many Americans still have questions about the 2020 election. And speaking of rogue judges, would you consider appointing somebody at DOJ maybe to investigate the judges that allowed for the political persecution of you, your family, and your supporters during the Biden administration?
I love you. Who are you?
I'm Kara from Lindell TV.
Well, it's just a very nice question.
Our president has stuck out his neck in many ways to make a peace deal for your war as well.
Will you guys also consider releasing the president's fitness plan? He actually looks healthier than ever before. Healthier than he did 8 years ago, and I'm sure everybody in this room could agree.
You are a Trump fan, right?
Yes, I'm definitely a supporter of President Trump.
So will you be able to hold them to account then?
I will be able to hold 100% him to account. I'm sure things that will happen that I disagree with, and I have said plenty of times, on the record when I've disagreed with his decisions.
Is there anything so far in this administration you've disagreed with?
I'm not gonna, let me put some thought into that for a second. I'm just overwhelmed with how well I perceive things to be going.
I'm sure they're gonna do a bang up job in the Pentagon. If you enjoyed that, make sure that you never miss another video by subscribing. And if you want a little more, consider hitting the join button and becoming an actual member. But you're probably wondering, why the hell would I do that, John? First off, calm down. The stakes in this are very, very low. But also, when you click the join button and you become a member, you get access to bonus content that I make every week, and it's a ton of fun. You get access to tons of custom emojis and more besides that. By the way, if you join at tier 3, you even get access to a monthly member hangout with myself and other awesome people, and we always have a great time. By the way, you'll get all that going forward, but you also unlock years of the back catalog. That is literally 100 or more bonus clips, top 10 lists, debates, and more. What are you waiting for? Click the join button below. Your support powers our show, and we couldn't do it without you. Or at the very least, I wouldn't really want to try. Viewers like you keep me here. So thank you in advance for joining.